Leo Knighton Tallarico, and this is another edition of Perspectives from the Sky, which will soon change. We're going to change it to Spiritual Renaissance Center, which is what Deborah and I created. Uh, God, many years ago. In fact, we created the seeds of it back when we were on our honeymoon in Mount Shasta back in 1990. No, guess 1994, 1994. Yes. Um, so we knew we were coming together for a reason. We knew that almost from the get go. We met each other at a metaphysical bookstore where I was doing readings. So we've been on this spiritual path together since we first met. And like I said, on our honeymoon, we created Spiritual Renaissance. You know what we all called it? Well, let's call it Love Center. So we ended up with Spiritual Renaissance, which I really like. And now it seems our work is coming together more and more, as you can see on this show that we do. And so Spiritual Renaissance is ready for a revival. When we were in Santa Fe, that's when we really took off for the publication of Spiritual Renaissance. And it was Spiritual Renaissance Center pretty much for us back in Santa Fe. And also in Maine, where we had a center and lots of different practitioners at the center. And that was Spiritual Renaissance Center. So now we're coming back to that again. And at a good time. Our world is like needing spiritual renaissance, which is what we knew back when we first started. So let's go to today. So Mercury's direct. Everything is direct except Uranus. And Uranus will go direct on the 27th of January. And then all systems are go, so to speak, because every planet will be direct. And all those planets will stay direct until April 1st, 2024, when Mercury goes retrograde again. So from the 27th of January to the 1st of April, all planets will be direct. I know it's not just us. Everybody's talking about 2024. What an important year it's going to be for our human family. And I definitely agree with that. It's going to be a powerful year of transformational change. And so on that note, 2 weeks from today, January 20th, we are going to have a webinar. So that one we're going to charge money for. It'll be a couple hours at least. And it'll be on my end forecast for the year 2024. And then Deborah has many things to talk about on her wisdom from the earth part of who she is, which is what we called what she did way back when we first started Spiritual Renaissance. She'd write an article every publication, Wisdom from the Earth. So we'll be doing that on the 20th. $30 per person, I believe. And Deb will tell you more about it when she gets on. But we'll set up a way for you to get a hold of us. Let us know that you want to get on, reserve a seat, so to speak. But it'll be on Zoom, so everybody will be able to be seated. So yeah, that's the 20th. And I'm going to get into all sorts of stuff. We've got an election coming up in November 5th, I believe it is. And on the surface, it looks like Trump and Biden again, but I'm not so sure about that. So I'm going to be studying the charts of Trump, Biden, Kamala Harris, RFK Jr., the senator from West Virginia, Manson, because he's thinking about getting into a party to run. Cornel West, he's running, third party. And then Jill Stein is running Green Party. Now you might say, these people have no chance, but if there's enough of these third parties, that could really spread the votes around. And it's not just a two-man race anymore. It's quite possible. I'm not making a prediction. Predictions I'm going to make in 2 weeks, however. And it'll be about the election, but about what's going on in the world too, the economy, a lot of the conflicts that are in the world. But we'll also spend a lot of time talking about the world that's growing underneath all the problems from the old world. It's like there's this other world just ready to come up, and it does come up. And as the old world goes down, that one comes up more and more. That's what a lot of this year is going to be. The old world waving goodbye and the new world saying hello. And we'll talk about, well, Deborah and I will talk about what that new world looks like in our eyes. What does it mean to be in a new age, to be in an age of Aquarius, to be with spiritual renaissance? So there's a lot to talk about. I think we can set it up with questions and answers for people that are listening. I think we can set something up that way. I'd like to. So, if you have any questions, you'll be able to ask them. Also, on the $30 that I mentioned, if anybody has a rough time with the money, we'll do a sliding scale, or we'll do a scholarship for people that are really hurting. Uh, so let's take a look ahead for now. The next big intense period is not going to be till March, April, because in April, there's going to be a powerful solar eclipse, new moon in Aries. And it's going to travel, its path is across the United States, which means usually, almost always, that a lot of the concentration of events will happen across the United States. And this path goes from the Southwest all the way up into Maine in the Northeast. That's the path of this one. The last time this happened, a total solar eclipse that came across the United States, was not that long ago, in 2017, August of 2017. We had a total solar eclipse that traveled across the United States. And we did a lot of talking back then about what was happening in the world. And back then they had a couple things were happening. North Korea was strutting about nuclear weapons. Remember, and they were strutting back and forth, trying to be friends, trying to whatever they were doing. And then in Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, there was a protest around a Confederate statue that was to be taken down. And so a lot of so-called white supremacists, neo-Nazis, were there, as were Antifa and others from the far left. And it got pretty intense. And in fact, a woman actually got run over and killed during that protest, if you remember. So that's some of the things that were happening at the last total solar eclipse that went across the United States. That one was in Leo. This one in Aries, both fire signs. So there's an eclipse before that one on April 8th. And that one's at the end of March. That one will be a lunar eclipse, full moon, and it'll be in Pisces, Virgo. Pisces, Virgo. Also in April, this coming April, Jupiter will make conjunction with Uranus in Taurus. April 20th. Yes, April 20th, that one will be. And that's going to be powerful too. And the last time Jupiter conjuncted Uranus in Taurus was in 1941, just prior to the Second World War. I'll be talking a lot about those kind of dates and events and synchronicities on the 20th also. There'll be a lot to talk about. I only brought up March, April because that's the next time of a lot of intensity. So how about now? Well, right now we're in the dark moon phase until January 11th. So for the next 5 days, the moon will be getting darker and darker and darker. And then on the 11th, there'll be a new moon in Capricorn. And by the next night, you'll be able to see a little bit of light from that new moon. But before that, it's pretty dark out there. One of the great things to do as the moon darkens, especially when you get before the new moon, the day before, the day of, day after, is a really good time to make intentions, to meditate, and in those meditations, make intentions. Extremely good time to be doing that. Positive visualizations, but things that you want to work on your deep soul with, because it's from the deep soul that change happens. It's not from the cheerleading outer directed way. It's on a very deep level inside of us that change happens. And I think a lot of you know already, but what we do inside ourselves has a lot to do with what's going to happen in our lives. That's why our inner world is extremely important, and we're not taught that very much in school or with our families or anywhere. It's always about what you can get done, how well you can do at what you get done, what you can accomplish, what kind of grade you're going to get, how many people you're going to draw. There's not as much attention paid to working on that inner world. If you've got peace inside yourself, truly do, you have a better chance of drawing peace to yourself from outside. If you've got stories in your mind that tell you that you're no good or not up to something or subpar on anything, just self-critical in any way, whatever stories go with that, from your childhood, from your last relationship, from the job that you run, those stories dictate what's going to happen in your life. So it's important. That's why it's important to go inside and go deep, to work on changing those stories, transforming those stories. Meditation is a good place to do the changing of the stories. And it'll change a lot for our world and for your world, the more that you're able to do that. So this week, as I said, there's a new moon in Capricorn on January 11th. So let's talk about Capricorn a little bit. So, like on January 1st, everybody makes these New Year's resolutions. That's Capricorn time of year. It fits Capricorn to make those kind of resolutions. And on the 11th, it'll be new moon in Capricorn. You don't necessarily have to make resolutions, but it's a good time to say, these are the things that I really want to do. These are the intentions that I have. This is what I'd like to get done and accomplish. Here's the plan I've got for something. Here's how I'm going to discipline myself to reach that plan. Those kind of things. That's very Capricornian. So it fits right in with resolutions. So on the 11th, when you do any meditation on the 11th or around the 11th, think in those kind of terms. Where do you want to head? What direction do you want to go in? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to do? This is opposite of what I was saying before about inner work. The Capricorn's not about inner work. It's opposite. Cancer is about inner work. All the water signs are about inner work. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Capricorn, as much, if not more than any other sign, is about outer direction. So, let's say, archetypal father who says, this is what I need you to do. This is what I need you to get done. I want to know how you're going to do it and how you're going to get there. And the implication is, I'll really be proud of you if you get this done. I'm really going to be disappointed if you don't. That's a lot to do with Capricorn. Cancer, the opposite is more like, whatever you do, honey, is fine with me. I love you no matter what. That's Cancer Capricorn difference. So this is Capricorn coming up. So the messages are, what do I need to do in my life? What am I supposed to do? Uh, and you'll get those coming up for you to decide what you need to do. So, you know, and by the way, I'm sorry I didn't say this already, but Deborah will be coming on very shortly. She's going to talk to us about uh, the Venus cycle and where it's at now, solar plexus, I believe, but she'll tell you about that now. Um, so just, like a bigger picture, I mean, those of you that have listened to this before, read what I write, know that I've been talking a long time about moving into this new age. And I also believe that the new age started on December 21st, uh, 2020. And that was right after an election. The election had Biden won, and Trump has been protesting that victory, saying it was a rigged election. That was back in November of 2020. And again, Jupiter made conjunction with Saturn on the 21st at 0 plus degrees of Aquarius. And that's what I believe was the beginning of the Age of Aquarius. After that election and after the Jupiter conjunct Saturn on the 21st of December 2020, we then had on January 6th, 2021, the invading the Capitol, what's been called an insurrection. And of course, Donald Trump is on trial for his role in that insurrection. See how that goes, which is interesting. That's happening in all the other, I think he's got 3 other legal cases that are going on this year before the election and what that'll mean. And I'm going to study for you guys, talk about it on the 20th, what I think is going to happen. I'm not always right, but I did predict that Trump would win the Republican nomination before those primaries actually started, or before I didn't get the, I'd heard a debate, but I studied his chart. That predicted he would win. People hated me for that, but that's what it looked like to me, astrologically speaking. Also, in 2008, I predicted that Obama would win the presidency. I made that prediction way before the election. Also, I got lucky a couple times. Huh? But I've done other things like the Iraq War. In fact, I was on the air uh, with our radio show that we had called Renaissance Radio Hour in Santa Fe on public radio. And I made that prediction months before the actual United States invasion of Iraq. And I got feedback from listeners about I'm contributing to the war by saying that that's going to happen. So I got a lot of flack for making the prediction. Kill the messenger, okay? No, don't kill the messenger. So, um, yeah, I'll make some. And another one I made way back in 2001. Now, this is a notorious one too. 2001, at the beginning of the summer, for a lot of planetary aspects in the summer of 2001, and like Saturn opposite Pluto, for instance, was right before it all happened. But even more so, or at least as much so, on the solstice, there was a solar eclipse on the solstice in Cancer. And that really alerted me that the summer, that's like a signature for the summer, what happened on the planetarily on those 4 turning points of the solstices and eclipse and equinoxes. So I knew it was going to be a really intense summer back then, with a lot of difficult things happening. And I knew when I wrote in an article, the United States will face a lot of trouble this summer before it's over. And then I chose as a picture on this publication, I chose the Tower card from tarot with a tower in flames and people jumping out of the tower. I didn't do that because I knew that that was going to happen. I did that because I felt that the tower card was being played in the United States, which is all the walls are coming down. But I didn't know how that was going to happen. But then when the day happened of 911, a friend of mine called and said, "Hey, Leo, your article's up on in the world." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, uh, "Twin towers were just crashed into by airplanes." I said, "Holy God!" So let's see what happens coming up on January 20th when we do these predictions. I'm looking forward to that. Um, so yeah, I believe that, as you all know, that the Age of Aquarius started at winter solstice 2020, and now we've got Pluto in Aquarius, which only happens like every 250 years or so. The last time Pluto was in Aquarius was from 1777 to 1797. What was going on then? You all know. Revolutionary War and the beginning of the United States of America. Also, a French Revolution was going on there too, during Pluto in Aquarius. Also, Uranus, the ruling planet of Aquarius, was discovered at that time while Pluto was in Aquarius. And as the American and the French Revolutions sparked open, Uranus was discovered. And Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius. Come on, the universe does some meaningful things. Can you believe that? So I know that we need to look back during those 20 years, have a sense what is happening with Pluto coming in Aquarius again. And what was happening back then was the old world of the kings and the queens and the dictators, those that tell human beings what their reality is going to be. We had our first real revolution against that way of looking at things. Instead, looking at we the people. This world belongs to we the people. How it ever happened that it belongs to those that have the most money or the most power, God only knows. But now it's time for us to move away from that. And that's part of the sign Aquarius. Aquarius does not have a respect for authority figures. Aquarius believes in community. Community is what runs the world. A community based on equals is what runs the world. A lot of it was in the United States Constitution, by the way. We the people, of the people, by the people, for the people. Right now, you look out there and say, how the hell is that going to happen, Leo? You've got all these, governments and leaders that corporations are kind of running the world in a lot of ways. And people really don't have a stronger voice as we ought to have. It's going to happen over the next 20 years. I won't be around probably for the whole 20 years. You never know, but I doubt it. But it's happening. We the people, just remember that. This world is the world of the people, not the people with the money. That's been contrived. That's been survival of the fittest power struggles that developed that. So now we move into a new age. We are in a new age. And in that new age, we the people and diversity within unity. What does that mean? That means in any kind of a group or any kind of a state or religion or whatever you're involved in, everybody gets to be true to who they are, how they were made, while at the same time developing a unity in that community. So a lot of groups through time have been about you need to think and be like me to be in this group. This kind of community is much different. It's like we respect the differences and we all come together. Respect the differences and we all come together. That's the world that we are developing underneath the surface. And people are awakening every day to this new way of looking at things, to new spirituality, to new ways of living and being and thinking and connecting with others. That's what's happening beneath the surface. And it's going to happen more and more and more and more and more over these next 20 years. And this year is a big turning point in that regard. A lot of the old world is going to be seen more and more for the decay that it's in. And more, there are going to be new people rising to have a voice that's aligned with the old world, with the new world. Sorry about that. Aligned with the new world. So we have a lot to look forward to this year, but it's going to get pretty chaotic also during a lot of the year, which I'll talk about on the 20th. Okay, I think that kind of tells us what this coming year is going to be. Coming week, I mean. Capricorn. Okay. Well, then we must be ready. See if Deborah looks ready. Ready over there, Deborah? Yes, you are. Okay, we're going to bring Deb on, and I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. I'll see you in a couple of weeks at the forecast, astrology forecast, spiritual renaissance time. Here is Deborah. We'll tell you more about how to get involved in all this, I hope. Deborah, hi.
Hey there. I'm down in the little tiny corner there, down below. I don't know if anyone can you see me down here in this little box? I don't know what's happening there. We'll wait patiently for Leo to figure that out.
You ready to come out, Deb?
Yes, I'm right here at the bottom of the screen.
I'm wondering why you didn't come out. It's kind of weird.
Hey, Judy Ann. Hey, Tomishka and LS. Those are the people that have written in today. I don't know why my picture is so tiny down below.
I don't know, but I'm going to get off in a second, and you'll be the only picture there. I see
Okay.
Judy Ann is there. Hi, Judy Ann. Hi, Tomeshka.
We can. It says we can see you, but when I look, I'm really tiny. So
yeah, I'm gonna get
yes,
off.
in a little box at the bottom. So if you just put me on with you off, then it should work.
I think so too, Deb. Here you come on.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, everyone, for your patience today. So, hello and happy New Year. Today's the 6th, right? Yes. Wow. Seems like the new year started longer ago than a week, but here we are in the first week of the new year. So happy new year, everyone. So what I'm going to talk about today is I'm just going to touch on some of the things that I'm going to talk about on the 20th and 2 weeks from today. And then we will be having another radio show, this show, the week after on the 27th, I believe. So I'm going to be talking a lot about this year in the 8 vibration, because this year, 2024, is an 8 vibration numerologically. And 8 has a lot to do with balancing material and spiritual, heaven and earth. It has a lot to do with strength. And in the tarot, the 8th card is a card of strength. And this is the strength card from the Star Tarot by Kathy McClellan. And so I'm going to be talking a lot about the energies, the themes that are pointing to what this new year is going to be about. And I've been, receiving a lot of downloads and synchronicities that are kind of showing me a thread about this year. And if you notice, in the strength card is the lion. And the woman, she has a figure 8. So the lion is very significant also because we're in the lion, the Leo cycle of Venus, oversold by the Leo energy, which is very much connected with the lion, the courage, the heart, strength, self-love, living from the heart. So I'm going to be talking a lot about that in my part of the presentation, and about how to work with these energies of 8, and about the portals, because we'll have the 888 gateway in August. And then I'm also going to talk about how this all fits in with the cycle of Venus and other things that are going on in the seasons and cycles. So today I wanted to talk about what's coming up on Monday morning. So as many of you who have tuned in here know, that I'm very connected with the cycle of Venus, and I have been for the last 5 or 6 years. Been studying and working with it and moving through the passages of it and guiding some people through ceremonies. So I wanted to talk about this cycle of Venus, which began in September. So every 19 months, there's a new cycle. And it has to do with, so the overlighting energy comes when Venus goes retrograde. Venus goes retrograde near the end of a cycle, and she transforms. She goes retrograde in a sign, and that's the sign that she transforms into for the next 19-month cycle. So back in July, I think July 22nd, Venus went retrograde in Leo, and she started going through her transformation process from Capricorn. The last cycle began with Capricorn retrograde Venus. So, and then she starts a new cycle. She goes through this transformation. She moves from that one overlighting goddess energy into the new. And then she rises up, or she transforms and begins the journey all over again. And the journey is very much connected to the ascent and descent of Inanna, the goddess, the ancient Sumerian goddess, who was all about she made the decision to go to the underworld to visit her dark sister, Ereshkigal. And she consciously made that decision. She needed to visit her, and she did all these preparations for if she didn't return. So she goes to the underworld. She passes through the 7 gates, and in each gateway, she relinquishes one part of her regalia. And each part of the regalia symbolizes something, and it's connected with the chakra gateways, our chakras. So normally there's 8 gateways, though, with Venus. So many people believe that this cycle of Venus was intimately connected with the myth of Inanna, that the ancient Sumerians followed this cycle of Venus, and this is where this came from, this story of Inanna, and this archetypal energy that you could call it, where we make a descent. We die to our old self, which she did in the underworld. She was killed by her sister, and then she was reborn and resurrected through the compassion of these beings that came to rescue her. And then she rose up and ascended through the gateways and retrieved back a new transmuted form of what she had released. So it's a story of transformation. So at the when Venus begins her new cycle, which she did in September, it starts at the crown chakra and then goes down. Crown chakra, third eye, throat, heart, solar plexus, womb or sacral, root chakra, and earth star chakra. And then she goes into the underworld, where she's not visible in the sky, and she is conjoined with the sun, and she goes through this death, rebirth, facing her shadow, major transformation with the sun. Now, what makes a gateway is when for the descent is when the waning crescent moon and Venus conjunct each other. And each time they conjunct each other, it's a different gateway. Okay. So right now, we're in the last 2 days of the heart chakra gateway, which was almost 4 weeks ago. And on Monday morning at 11:44 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, so you can calculate where that is, where you are, Mountain Time, 11:44 a.m., Monday morning, the waning crescent moon is going to conjunct Venus in the early morning sky, eastern horizon, before dawn. So they're rising up together. So the next couple days, the next few days actually, it's a wonderful time to really start tuning in to these energies, really start feeling the waning crescent moon in her last quarter joining together with Venus and getting closer and closer each day. So tomorrow morning, Monday morning, Tuesday morning, you'll get to see. But especially Monday morning, they're going to be very close together because they're going to be conjunct just hours after dawn, 5 hours after dawn. So I highly recommend, if you're able to wake up in time, to just take a peek outside or even go outside so you can really feel the energies of the moon and Venus coming together. And this will be the initiation at when they come together, where we move from the heart chakra gateway down into the solar plexus gateway. So the heart chakra gateway has been a lot about deepening our self-love, self-forgiveness, expanding our hearts, healing wounds from relationships, traumas, all kinds of things that have affected our heart in our high heart chakra. And so this new gateway of Venus, the solar plexus gateway, is all about releasing our old wounds, belief systems, patterns, traumas, distortions, old vows and contracts that we've held in our solar plexus around our sense of our own personal power, around our confidence, our sovereignty. Let's see what else. Our will, the use of our will, manifestation, our strength, our inner strength. So that's a lot what the solar plexus has to do with. And when I think of the solar plexus, I think of the sun too. It's like the sun shining in there. So some of the traumas that we're going to be naturally drawn to release, or wounds or old programs that we're carrying there, are going to be around the themes of the ways that we have given our power away, diminished or hidden our inner light from shining, the ways we've, shrunk ourselves around other people or in different situations, how we've given our energy away, and not had boundaries to protect ourselves, and ways where we haven't felt good enough or enough of whatever it is, smart enough, beautiful enough, whatever it is. Perfectionism, releasing those tendencies to want to have everything be perfect. Those are some of the themes of this gateway and what we're going to be releasing. And I just got a note from one of the women who has been going through this whole journey through the gateways. And she said, I just started to have all these themes are coming up. She read our newsletter that I sent out last night. She said, everything you're talking about has already started coming up. So you may actually be recognizing that those issues start bubbling up to the surface. We haven't even entered that gateway yet, but it's starting to come up. So during this time, so it's going to be from January 8th through till February 7th. And during that time, we'll have a tremendous opportunity to heal and transmute these old patterns. Anyways, we've given our power away in relationships, in our life with, bosses, authority figures. And also, it's going to be a time to really reflect deeply on our use of power and any ways or any times we have misused our own power. And as I know, the true power is not about domination over others. It's really about love and equality and the energies of creation. That's a lot of what power has to do with, that creation energy that helps us to manifest things that are good for our world, for the highest good of all. That's what true power is. It's not power over. It's honoring and respecting everyone's power of creation and their own inner authority. And of course, first you have to respect and honor your own sense of inner authority and your own sovereignty. So during this month, you can create an altar to honor this gateway with images that you get drawn to for the solar plexus. There's also goddesses you can work with. Sekhmet, the ancient Egyptian goddess, lion-headed goddess, is one of the primary guardians of this gateway, as well as Durga, who rides the lion, the tiger, with all her instruments, and she's a lot about setting boundaries. Sekhmet's a lot about coming into our power and our sovereignty. She sits on a throne. And also Bridget, which is a lot about that inner fire, because our solar plexus is also connected with our Agni, or our inner digestive fire, our gut instincts. So this is a time when you're going to be drawn to start listening to, what are my gut instincts? And also notice your digestion. How are you digesting whatever it is that you're experiencing? Not just eating food, but your experiences, all connected to our digestion. And Bridget, one of the goddesses, she's a goddess of Imbolc, and Imbolc will be during this gateway. So she's a goddess of the hearth and the triple flames of inspiration, and she's a warrior, a very empowered goddess, as well as a healer. And also Isis is another goddess of this gateway, who was a major great mother, divine mother energy for Egypt and all through much of the world, actually, and that part of the world, Mesopotamia and all those areas. So, and then also any of the sun goddesses, also, because the energy of the golden light of the sun and the color of the solar plexus is the golden light, the yellow energies. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Also, there's many essential oils that you can use to anoint your solar plexus during this gateway. And a lot of them happen to be the golden yellow energies, like bergamot, coriander, cumin, ginger, turmeric. Let's see, what are some of the other ones? Grapefruit, all those that have that yellow vibration. And a lot of them are for empowerment. I know I left some out, but also you can work with some of the stones, the sacred energies of the stones of this solar plexus, which would be amber, citrine, carnelian also, even though it's also for the womb chakra. Tiger's eye is really good for the topaz, golden topaz. Those are some of the energies of this that are healing for our solar plexus. Now, doesn't mean you need to go buy these. You can call to the overlighting deva of these stones and work with them. If you have a crystal oracle, you can work with them there. Same with the oils. If you don't have them, you can call to the ones that you resonate with. The doTERRA book, the Emotions and Feelings book, is an amazing book for really connecting with the energies of the essential oils. If you get our newsletter, I talk about that in the newsletter, the different oils and their primary purpose. You can sign up for that on my website, Gaia Sophia Temple of the Heart, at any time. Also, I will be doing a ceremony. I'm doing a ceremony on the days of the gateways every month now. And it's about a 2-hour, 90-minute to 2-hour ceremony where it's an activation ceremony where you're going to be taken into this gateway and you'll get to connect with the goddesses of this gateway, and you'll be anointed and blessed with many of the frequencies of this gateway through the ceremony. So again, if you're interested in that, you can just go to my website under Mystery School and it might Gaia Sophia Temple of the Heart.com. And under Mystery School, you'll see where you can register. And everything I've talked about is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be connecting with in the ceremony. And even if you can't attend live, you can get the recording. And another wonderful thing about this ceremony is we're going to be joining together during the exact moment of the conjunction of the waning crescent moon and Venus, even though we won't be able to see them at that time. So it's going to be really potent. So please join me if you can. So the next thing I wanted to do was I pulled some cards for all of you, all of us, just about some of the energies to be aware of as we enter this new year. And I picked them from 2 different decks today, different than the ones in the past. And the 2 decks were Angels and Ancestors and Gateway of Light Activation. And they're both by Kyle Gray. And actually, before I do that, I just want to read this quote to you that's very much connected with the solar plexus, third chakra gateway. So let me just read this to you. And this is a quote by Marianne Williamson. And it's called Our Deepest Fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, goddess. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God, goddess that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. And I just, that quote is so connected to this gateway. So I wanted to make sure I shared that. So I'm going to go right into the cards now. So the first card I pulled was Tehute or Thoth. And this card is called Thoth Light Codes, Light Initiation, Great Teacher Awakening, and Divine Magic. And so this card is about Tehute or Thoth, the ancient Egyptian god, was a master in ancient Atlantis. And what he taught a lot about was aligning with the spiritual laws of the universe. And from that perspective, the fall of Atlantis was connected to beings that really didn't stay aligned with the spiritual laws of the universe. And they forgot to honor their gifts. And so his teachings are all about integrity, aligning with our spiritual integrity. And this card is a lot about initiations. So this year, as we all know, the power of this year coming up, This card is reminding us that we're going to be moving through many light initiations, and these are all to prepare us to lead from a place of love and integrity. Because as we move into the new Aquarian golden age, we want to do it differently than those civilizations in the past. And we want to be aligned with the spiritual laws of the universe and with our higher selves. And this card also has a lot to do with releasing old stories and limiting beliefs to connect with your true power within. And some of the messages also to not be concerned with the intensity of the energies that surround us right now and what's going to be going on in our outer world. Do not be too concerned with the intensity of what's going on in the outer world, but instead focus on facing your own shadow parts and connecting with your own divine being within. And just know that when fears arise, that means you're on the verge of something powerful and a powerful transformation. So that points to some of what we're going to be going through this year. Now, the second card that I pulled, or that was brought forth for us, is Mirror Guardian. And it's this woman looking down into the water. And the message is take time to reflect. And this card is all about honoring, looking in the mirror, reflecting, and really honoring your strengths. So this year, it's going to be really important for us as whatever's going through and in the outer world, the chaos, the intensity, the discord, the conflict, whatever's going on, to really reflect and really see who you are for real with your strengths, your challenges, and remember that everything in your life, I think Leo touched on this earlier, everything that you see manifested in your life is a reflection, a divine reflection of your inner world, your inner thoughts, your inner beliefs, your inner feelings. So what we believe and think gets reflected. That means what's going on in the outer world too. That's why the deepest of healing and transformation of our world comes from within us. We need to transform anything in ourselves that's not of peace, everything in ourselves that's not of love and equality and justice for all. All those qualities we want to see in the outer world. In the new golden age of Aquarius, we need to start embodying and working through and holding within ourselves. So this is reminding us that we're beautiful, magical beings with many gifts. And it's reminding us to take inventory of our life, our thoughts, our beliefs, so that we are really aware of what we're creating through our words, thoughts, and actions in the world. Now, the other card after this that I pulled was autumn. And I was like, well, why am I pulling autumn right now? And this is all about, and this is a crow, release the old and rest. So this card is all about surrendering and letting go of the old. Just like the trees in the autumn get really heavy with their leaves and they shed their leaves. This is all about looking at what is it that you need to surrender so you can continue to grow in your life in this new year. And the raven is an animal about healing and initiation. So again, pointing to this year of being a year of profound healing and initiation. So look at what's holding you back, what's weighing on you that you need to let go of. Let go of those things to make space for something new to come in. And to me, that's making space for the new earth too, releasing all the old belief systems, thoughts, patterns. And this is reminding us that we're being guided by our angels and nature herself. So stay really attuned to nature. The last card I pulled in this deck, and then I have two others that I pulled, is this broken arrow card. And at first I was like, whoa, that's an intense card. But actually, the broken arrow card is about embrace the energy of peace. And in the Native American tradition, a broken arrow was a sign of peace between tribes, like the battle was over. So this tells me that this year we're going to be focusing on finding peace on our planet and within ourselves, within our communities, within our relationships, in our relationship with ourselves. So this is reminding us that we need to not fight anymore, that we need to let go and find peace. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else about this card. It's letting us know that we can drop our shields and protections and start really trusting peace. And this was a really positive card to have come up right now with all that's going on in the world. So, and it's reminding us too that our guides and ancestors are with us as we move through this year. So the last two cards I pulled, of course, were very powerful too. About this one is Memories of Atlantis, Spiritual Acceleration, Progress, and Technology. And this card is a lot about how the people of the ancient civilization of Atlantis were so developed in their spiritual gifts and intuition and telepathy, and they really knew how to balance science and spirituality, and they developed a lot of technologies. But what happened was they forgot their spiritual gifts inside. I know they got lost in power, and they also forgot to care for the earth and the oceans. And there was the demise of that civilization. People got too much into power and greed and control, and they lost that spiritual connection. So this is reminding us how important, again, like Tahuti was the first card I pulled. This is reminding us of how important our spiritual integrity is, and to honor your spiritual connection through everything, and how important our spiritual connection is, our connection to our spiritual gifts, and that there's many beings from this civilization that actually got through that civilization who did not forget. And so this is just reminding us that how important our spiritual connection and alignment really is, and being in our integrity as a being on this planet. And then the last card I pulled, which is so beautiful to complete this little reading for this new year, is Lemurian Seed Codes, which is embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, living with grace. And as many of you know, the ancient civilization of Lemuria, and this is in a Lemurian crystal that I want to show you, because that's actually in the card. It was a very advanced spiritual civilization also, but it was very much focused in the heart, different than Atlantis. So it was very much connected with love and telepathy too. But so the message here is the Lemurians lived in total balance and harmony with nature, with all the elements. They were just really divinely guided. Their pineal glands were really activated. And what happened was it came to an end from a cataclysmic event. And what the Lemurians did was they put all their thought forms from their civilization into these crystals, these Lemurian crystals that they encoded these light codes into. And the message was it has a very feminine energy. So it's a part of the message is to let the feminine guide us more through this year, and to honor the highly sensitive being that you are, because the Lemurians were very sensitive, heart based, innocent, kind of pure beings, very ethereal. So this card is reminding us that through this year to really honor your soul's gifts, your sensitivity, and also your uniqueness. How important it is to honor your uniqueness. So with that, I'm just going to say, I can't hear Leo, but what I was going to say is honor your uniqueness, and just take in some of the things that I just shared, as guideposts for this year. And to join, so if you go to my website by the end of this day or tomorrow morning, I think by the end of this day, to my website, GaiaSophiaTempleoftheHeart.com, you can get a link to sign up for our talk on the 20th of this month in 2 weeks. So again, that's GaiaSophiaTempleoftheHeart.com, and you can register there.
Everyone, I don't know why my picture's bigger than yours. It's kind of weird. But it is this time. We won't next time, Deb.
Yes.
And I want to say goodbye. See everybody on the 20th, I hope, for our predicting 2024.
And I just also wanted to mention really quick that I'm going to be doing a Dreaming Your New Life, Your New Year into Being, and that's going to start on the 27th of January. You can also find that on my event page in Gaia Sophia Temple of the Heart. And soon Leo and I will have our Spiritual Renaissance site active, but it isn't now. So everything's on my site for the time being. Love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here. See you in 2 weeks, hopefully at our gathering, and then in a few weeks on our show.
Take care, everybody. See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.